What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Blunt Guy. Hey, and we're back with another One Piece chapter reaction. Today we will be reacting to chapter 1086, the Five Elder Planets. Man, that's that title right there. That title just I just seen the title as well, so now I got an idea of this chapter. Now, before we get into the chapter, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Also, comment down below your thoughts on the chapter and what you think of the reactions. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live and you can engage with me in real time. And also, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And join the Discord. The Discord is the best place to reach out to me. And if you're going to be part of a future discussion, stream or something, make sure you're part of the Discord. Anyway, like I said, y'all, today we are reacting to One Piece chapter 1086, the Five Elder Planets. So it seems like we're getting some information on the Gorosei. We know one of the names of the five elders, right? Saint J. Garcia, Saturn, I want to say. So we know his theme is off of Planet 2. So I think it's safe to assume that all these other Gorosei members, based on the title as well, as far as early speculation, that they were going to be named after planets as well. You know what I'm saying? I even think Eam is going to be named after a planet of probably Earth. I've speculated that Eam is going to be like Emu something Earth or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah. And we know Saint Garcia, Saint J Garcia, Saturn. So there's still Jupiter, Mars, Earth, of course, Mercury, Venus. When it comes to like Pluton, the ancient weapons, Uranus, even though Poseidon, the name for Poseidon, right, would be Neptune. So there's that. But yeah, so I'm thinking it's not going to be. I think all the like the ancient weapon names are going to be taken, like those planets, like Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. I think those are going to be saved for the ancient weapons specifically. But we still got Saturn, which we know, Saint J Garcia, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Mars, right? And Earth. Earth is going to be that one, but the five Saint Elders, I'm assuming it's going to be Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Venus, right? And then Earth, I would probably leave that for Emu. That's just what I believe. That's what I believe. But let's get into this chapter. All right, so we got the weekly Shonen Jump magazine. We got Luffy on the front page. We also got Garp and Kobe. That's interesting. Is this like a movie or something? Is this like promoting a movie? I don't know. Cause like why do they got Garp and Kobe on the front page on the Shonen Jump cover page with Luffy? You know what I'm saying? Ah. That's interesting. It's an interesting choice. All right, so then we get a full cover page spread with the Straw Hats in the rain. They all got like rain coats on. Yeah, so we got Luffy, Nami. Nami got an umbrella. Luffy jumping in puddles. Sanji, I guess, don't want Luffy splashing water on Nami. And we got Chopper, who got a little snail on his head, and he's next to like some cat or something. I'm not sure. And Brook holding the umbrella for himself and Robin. And you see Frankie in the back riding a bike, and Usopp. I don't see Zoro though. Where's Zoro? Yeah, they missing Zoro and Jinbei. Zoro and Jinbei, and yeah, those two are the only ones missing. Ah, cool cover page. It says cover requested by Crazy Downey, and then it said Chopper and a kitty crossing the reflection of a rainbow they see in the puddle. Interesting. It, I personally like the cover stories. You know, like the cover pages with actual stories that's coincide with the the main running story. I like those. You know, I don't really care for the cover requests like that. So let's move on. All right, so we got chapter 1086, the five elder planets, and we start off at Mary Joa. At that main castle. It says the fallout from revelry. And we get an old box that says, and so the curtains draw or and so the curtains drew closed on the reverie before the news of King Cobra's murder came to light. All right, so we got what was the dude's name? I y'all know I'm bad with names, right? Y'all know I'm bad with names, but he was with Vivi in the Baruch Works, right? But he was actually a servant of Vivi. He has those big old curls, and he always sing like the opera. I forget dude name. Igram, yeah, Igram. So he's yelling, crying with Vivi pictures. He says, "This is Princess Vivi of Alabasta. Hasn't anyone seen her?" So okay, so yeah, this is after she went missing. I guess they probably know of Cobra's death. We see Pell, and then the other guy who also works for who's also like a servant of Vivi and Cobra. Um they said, "Where is the king? Has his condition worsened?" So yeah, it was Pell and that guy who's always with Pell. I be forgetting his name, but yeah, they're looking for King Cobra, while Igram's looking for Vivi. Then the older box says, all the while a number of stowaways held their breath as they attempted to escape on various royal vessels. We got Wapple and Vivi. They're a stowaway in the ship, looks like, and Wapple says, "Hey, whose ship is this?" And then Vivi says, "The Aegis Kingdoms." The Aegis, kind of sound like what is it, Cypher Pole Aegis, but I don't know. The Aegis Kingdom. Who's the Aegis Kingdom? And Waffles over the phone or the Denden Mushi, and okay, so he's talking to Big News Morgans. Okay, so now we're going to learn how Waffle and Vivi ends up with Big News Morgans, right? So they're currently on someone else's ship, the Aegis Kingdom ship, and they're talking to Big News Morgans, who somehow they're going to meet up with Big News Morgans. So Wapple tells Morgans, "We're on Aegis ship, Morgans." And then Morgan says, "Gotcha. We'll fly our headquarters over and pretend to look for a scoop. Use that chance to hop aboard and don't get yourself caught before then." And then Wapple says, "I owe you one." And Morgan says, "You got that right. A king somehow became the subject of a manhunt hunt. This is big news. I can't wait to hear all about it." Bro, so what is the relationship with Wapple and Morgans? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna get more on how this relationship started in this chapter, or what? You know what I'm saying? And not only that, Wapple witnessed Eam, so you know we know that Eam or Morgans didn't put anything about Eam's existence in the newspaper after Revelry or anything, like right after everything. So if Waffle tells Morgans, is Morgans going to like hold off and print that at the right time, like the existence of Eam? The world will go crazy if they learn that there is actually a king that sits on the empty throne, the supposed quote unquote empty throne. So, bro, and Waffle's seen it. You know, like we know that now. We know that Waffle seen Eam's existence. So it's about to get spicy. So Vivi says, so what exactly did you see in there, Waffle? And the Waffle says, like I tell you, leave me alone and go back to your own ship. He said, I can't. CP0 is no joke. Now that they're after me, it won't matter how much everyone tries to help. Those agents won't rest till I'm back in their custody. I wonder why CP0 is after Vivi though. Like, is it because they killed Cobra, or is it because she was rebelling against him? You know, is it because like when they decided to kill Cobra, they was like, okay, now we got to kill Vivi, or we got to at least keep her silent so she's not complaining about Cobra being dead. Because I don't know if Vivi at this point is even aware that her father died. Because she's not acting like she knows, so you know what I mean? And I think this is Waffle talking. He says, now let me borrow your transponder, Snell. Oh, okay, no, this is Vivi talking. Now let me borrow your transponder, Snell. I need to talk to my father as soon as possible. So Vivi doesn't know. Vivi doesn't know. He's a total worry wart. And then Waffle says, anything but that, get lost already. And then Vivi says, what's wrong with you? Okay, so Vivi doesn't know. Vivi doesn't know about Cobra. You know, Vivi doesn't know about Cobra. We got CP0. They got pictures of Vivi and Sabo. They don't got no pictures of Waffle though. Like, you only see him with pictures of Vivi and Sabo, right? Like, they're looking for Vivi and Sabo. So, and this was before Lelugia. So, at this point, they still believe Sabo to have been escaped. But the thing is, you know, we know what happened in Lelugia, and the Gorosei thought Sabo was at Lelugia. So, after Lelugia, I think the Gorosei might think Sabo was dead. But at this point, they're looking for Sabo. And we see Jory Bonnie and her kid form. And she's on the Tajin Kingdom ship, the hatch section. What the hell's the hatch section? And she says, I'm hungry. And then we see Sabo. We see the man Sabo on the bottom of a ship. And it's Lelugia's Kingdom's ship, Belge section. So it looked like he's like on the very bottom of the ship, right? Like where the base of the ship is. And that man looked, he's beat down. He said, if I could just make it to Lelugia, huff, I know I can figure something out. And he says, huff. And Cobra, he's thinking of what Cobra says, I'm counting on you, Sabo-kun. You must live on. So, okay. So, all right. So, we got Jory Bonnie on one ship, you know. So, how does she get is that the same ship that she goes to Egghead on? Or does she, like, switch ships or something? Or still like, a small ship? I don't know, right? I don't know. And then Sabo is on the Lelugia ship. So, at least that's how we learn that he escaped to Lelugia before it got decimated. You know what I'm saying? So we get some older boxes. It says, it didn't take long for the two key stories to spread across the globe. The murder of King Cobra of Alabasta and the disappearance of his daughter, Princess Vivi. So all right, so it looks like we're at the bottom of the red line, or we're at least at a government facility. This it kind of reminds me of when Kuma. It kind of reminds me of where Kuma crashed at when he got to the red line and started climbing. That's kind of that like this little island that we're in now. And that's kind of what this remind me of. So yeah, I think this is the bottom of the red line. You know what I mean? And then the order box says the holy land of Mary Joa. Someone says the man they call Sabo. Okay, now we're back with the Gorosei. Now we're back with the Gorosei. Says he seems to have checkered fate. Now, or how else can you account for him constantly being surrounded by those who bear the letter D? That's a good point, man. Sabo was around Ace. He was around Garp. He was around Luffy. Now he works for Dragon. Bro, this all the D's that this man know. All the D's that this man know. They say I was hoping. Okay, so we get the Den Den Mushi ringing. Ring ring clank. Yes. Great Emu. Then one of them said, I was hoping he would be able to see to the egghead issue now, but it seems that dealing with this complication will have to take priority. I was hoping we would be able to see to the egghead issue now, but it seems that dealing with this complication will have to take priority. Okay. All right. So we cut to the Pangea Castle flower room, and we see Eam. Eam says the time has come to put Vegapunk's invention to the test. Use the mother flame. Oh. The mother flame, is that the thing that was at Lelougia? That destroyed Lelougia? I think so. This mother flame must be super deadly. Maybe it's something they created to counter the ancient weapons or something. The mother flame. Bro, what is the mother flame? It has to be that thing that destroyed Lelougia. That's what I'm banking on. So, Vegapunk created something capable of destroying islands. This mother flame thingy. I'm assuming that's the case. And if this ain't an ancient weapon, that really made me think how destructive the ancient weapons are. Because if this ain't an ancient weapon, I don't know if it's as destructive as ancient weapons. So, let's continue. And I think this is Saturn talking. He says, it is true we haven't had the chance to try it out before now. So there is no way to ascertain its effectiveness yet. And then one of the other ones say, depending on how well this experiment goes, Egghead may reconsider its response. And then it looked like the Gandhi one is talking. He says, I think a forest area would be a more suitable testing ground than a sea-based target. And then they say, or Eam, I think Eam says, Lelougia Kingdom. Okay, so again, we already knew that Lelougia was already targeted before Sabo even got there. So Sabo being there was just more of a, like we said before, Sabo being there was a coincidence in itself. And then the big mustache guy says, quite a lot of people live there. And then Eam says, that is of no consequence. That is of no consequence. I guess Eam probably figured, hey, they're probably rebellious anyway, so we might as well take out we might as well take out Lelougia. You know, they're probably working with the Revs anyway. And then the one who looked like the god of Skypiea, like the Gorosei member looked like Ganfall or whatever his name is, or Godfall. He says, understood. The world moves at the will of the creator. And then the other one, I think he's like the youngest one. He says, what is the reason for Lelougia's selection? Okay, we about to learn why they're targeting Lelougia specifically. Is it because they're a member of the Revs? So Eames says it's close proximity. It shall be as you say. And then we see a picture of Lelougia getting, that same scene that we seen earlier of Lelougia getting blasted by that mother flame. Now that we know what it is, right? Now that we know what it is. But so they're targeting Lelougia because it's in close proximity based on Eam. Okay? I guess, right? So now we get this full page spread of all the Gorosei members, and we finally get their names. So we get 5 Elder Planets Defense Science Warrior Guide. Defense Science Warrior Guide. So since he's defense science, is that why he's the one that's going to Vegapunk? Because he's like connected with science, and maybe that made me think maybe Saturn was the one who brought in Vegapunk, because since he's the defense science warrior guy, maybe he's the one who works with Vegapunk, or he's that connection between the Gorosei and Eam and Vegapunk. He's the bridge to them, being the defense science warrior guy. Saint J. Garcia, Saturn. And Saturn says, I will make necessary preparations. I humbly request your patience in the meantime. And then the next one, the one that kind of looked like Ganfall, he says, Lelougia citizens have shown sparks of rebellion recently. Makes sense. 5 Elder Planets Environmental Warrior Guide. Saint Marcus Mars. Okay, so we got Saturn and Mars. And then we look at the bald one with the big mustache. He says, we may be able to make an example out of them. 5 Elder Planets Justice Warrior Guide. Justice. Saint Topman Valkyrie. So Saint Marcus Mars, he's the environmental warrior god. I don't really know what that would mean. Like, is he the one responsible for recycling and getting rid of garbage? Like, I don't know. And this guy, he's the justice warrior guy, which makes me think he's like, maybe he works close with the Marines or something. Maybe I don't know. And then we got the Gandhi looking one who has a sword. He says, if we could one day use the power freely. And it says 5 Elder Planets Finance Warrior God, Saint Ethan Baron V. Nasjuro. Okay. So he's connected with the finances. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. He probably deals with the finances when it comes to the world government, or he's in charge. He's like the top guy dealing with that, right? Like when I say they're dealing with stuff like Saint Topman Valkyrie being the justice warrior god, he's probably just like the top of the top of the hierarchy when it comes to the Marines, right? Like you got the Admiral, who's Akainu, And then you got Kong, who's like the what is he like the Rare Fleet Admiral or something along that line? I don't remember. And then above him at top would be Saint Topman Valkyrie. Same with the finance warrior god Saint Ethan Baron. He probably deal with like he's probably the top when it comes to anything finance, world government wise. And then the last one, he says we could instantly snuff out any protracted conflict. 5 elder planets, agriculture. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Agriculture, warrior god, Saint Shepherd, Jew, Peter. Okay, so he's probably the top dog when it comes to agriculture stuff like farming and stuff like that, and where food goes and things like that. But one thing I noticed is it's only 2 of them named after planets. The other 3 aren't named after planets. Okay, I mean, I guess I was wrong. I gotta eat that. I was wrong. There's Saturn. There's Jupiter. Oh no! I was not wrong because the last one, his name is Saint Shepherd Jew Peter. Like Jupiter. So it's 3 of them named after planets. We got Jupiter or Jupiter. We got Mars. We got Saturn. The other 2, Saint Ethan Baron v. Nusjoro. Unless those names are like code names for the other planets, I don't see it, right? And Valkyrie, maybe that's connected with Venus. Saint Topman Valkyrie. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Those 2 aren't really connected with planets, though. Eam says, one more thing. And Nogorse says, of course. He says, retrieve Vivi. Then they say, as you wish. Yeah, they trying to get Vivi out here, bro. They trying to get Vivi out here. Bro, I just scrolled down and I see something, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Now we get an older box says meanwhile, and now we're at Marineford, New Marineford. It says the kingdom of Taijan and the Aegis kingdom are both rebelling. And we see a Akainu. It says between the disbanding of the 7 warlords and the uprising in government affiliated nations, the Navy has their hands full. Okay, so we see the other 3 Seraphim that we've been missing this whole time. The other 3 Seraphim, the Crocodile Seraphim, the Gecko Moria Seraphim, and the Dolphy Seraphim. I guess they're at Marineford, New Marineford. So it said deploy the Seraphim. Crocodile was spotted on Empty Bluffs Island. Crocodile was on Empty Bluffs? Or never mind. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Full Lady Island. I was thinking Blackbeard's Island. I was like, what was Crocodile with Blackbeard for? Empty Bluffs is Buggy's Island. I'm having brain farts right now. It says, in the uprisings in government-affiliated nations, the Navy has their hands full. However, their military power has already gone in a new direction. Bruh. Yo, I ain't gonna front, man. That Dolphy Seraphim look. he mirrored Dolphy so much. Like the walk, bruh. Come on now. All right, so it looked like we're we're leaving the flashback and we're going back to the where the Revs are with the Revs. And we see Sabo bandaged up. He says, the second we docked at Lelugia, the people arrested King Siki and Princess Komane. They were just waiting to ambush the royals. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing that little scene where the people rebelled against the king. That that was the people of Lelugia. I must have missed that. And Sabo says, since I was a stowaway, they welcomed me with open arms. And they say that's when I saw the papers and found out that they pinned King Cobra's murder on me. Surprisingly, the people there considered me a hero. I wanted to tell them the truth, but when I saw how that lie fanned the flame of rebellion within them, the words died in my mouth. Betty and the others had already inspired a lot of them, and I ended up bringing many of those hopeful recruits back with me. All right, cool. So Sabo wanted to tell people like, look, bro, I didn't kill Cobra. Y'all can't be giving me that credit. But it's like, bro, it sparked something within people. So it's like I gotta let the lie simmer. You know what I'm saying? I gotta let the lie simmer. I can't tell them, especially since it's gonna work in our favor. You know what I mean? So I guess you can't blame Sabo for that. So we got a map of Lelugia talking to the Kamibaka Kingdom. And the ship that Sabo's on headed to the Kamibaka Kingdom. Wow. So this, okay, all right. So, okay, I get it. So Sabo he was on the ship going from Lelugia to the Kamibaka Kingdom. And the snail that he was using was like it was like transmitting to Lelugia Island, which was sending the transmission to Kamibaka Kingdom or Queendom. So yeah, it's kind of like it was relaying. It was going like the signal was going from Sabo to Lelugia to the Kamibaka Queendom, and that's how like Sabo was communicating with Kamibaka Queendom through Lelugia's communications system. And Sabo says, I couldn't make direct contact without an encryption snail, so I rerouted my call through the island while we were setting sail. I knew the government would intercept the signal, but doing it like that was sure to fool them into thinking I was still on Lelugia. However, I was just within range, having already set out to sea with our new enlistees. Oh, okay, so when they thought Sabo was on Lelugia and they was like, yo, okay, so this is just a coincidence, but it's good on us. Like it works out for us, right? Because now we get to take out two birds with one stone. Sabo was doing that just to trick him, more so, just to make him think he was on that island when he really wasn't, and just to keep, some sort of secrecy, I guess. And then Ivankov says, so the annihilation of Lelugia really did happen during that call. And then Sabo says, yeah, everyone on board was hysterical. A lot of them had family on the island. They saw their country obliterated right in front of their eyes. That's tough. That's tough. Like, just imagine, your mom on the island, your grandma on the island, or your kids on the island, and you going off thinking you doing something noble for a noble cause, and then as you go off, you just see this beam just obliterate your island. Your family that's still on it is going. Bruh, that's wild. That's wild. And then Dragon says, despicable. How in the world did they do it? And it says, an enormous shadow seemed to engulf the sky above us. And the next moment, everything was gone. And the dragon says, an enormous shadow. Bruh. Bruh, this is this chapter's been good so far. Sabo says there's no way it was caused by a living thing or some natural disaster. Something pitch black was flying above the clouds. Something pitch black was flying above the clouds. And then Ivankov says, Sabo, earlier you said they used the name Emu. And Sabo says, right. He said this may be a little out there, but when the world we know told us was created 600 years ago, one of the first 20 sovereigns was Saint Emu of House Nerona. Bro, did we just get a name? Did we just get a full name for Emu? Are we getting some information on Emu? Are we getting some information on Emu? Saint Emu of House Nerona. Saint Emu of House Nerona. And then Ivankov pulls out a book and places it in front of Sabo. He says, now look at this. Sabo looks at it. He says, since we know an ability granting eternal youth is said to exist, that must mean someone has used it before, right? That's true. I think we all kind of believe Eam had that immortality surgery done on him, but what about the Gorosei? Did they have that surgery done on them as well? He says, which means there's a person out there that doesn't need to worry about death. Bruh. What's that book he pulled out though? Is that like a devil fruit book? Devil fruit book? Bruh, this is getting hella juicy right now. Bruh, he says Saint Emu of House Nerona. Sabo says, so, you think the one I saw is... And Ivankov says, it could be a coincidence. Maybe they just share the same name. But could anyone else but a founder command the 5 elder planets, the highest of world nobles? Now Ivankov even calling them the 5 elder planets. And he says, the highest of world nobles... The celestial dragons fancy themselves as the descendants of the gods after all. He says, one more thing. Bro, how do Ivankov all of a sudden know all this stuff? I mean, I guess he never got the name Eam, so he never could put 2 and 2 together, but it's like now Ivankov is like a wealth of information and knowledge, right? He says, one more thing. Assuming the object you saw above the clouds was a weapon made by the world government, then the only one capable of creating such a thing would be Vegapunk. And the dragon says, hold it, Eva. Vegapunk would never intentionally design a dedicated killing machine. And then Ivankov says, I know. So what if it was an ancient weapon? Assuming Emu has been living since ancient times, there is a connection. Bro, Ivankov is speaking facts. Like, what is Ivankov is just preaching right. Ivankov is cooking right now. Ivankov is cooking. And then Dragon says, Robin told us that the ancient weapons do in fact exist. But if this person had such a weapon, why wait till now to use it? I don't know though. I don't know, because the Gorosei specifically said when they were talking about using it, unless the Lelougia incident, no, because they said we was using it on Lelougia. They specifically said use the mother flame that was created by Vegapunk on Lelougia. Like, I'm not tripping, right? Like, I know I'm not tripping on that. I'm not tripping. They specifically said that they was going to use the mother flame on Lelougia. They said to put Vegapunk's invention to the test, use the mother flame. And then they was like, yeah, we're going to use it on Lelougia. Yeah, so why would they say use the mother flame if they going to use an ancient weapon, right? And why would they? Not only did they say use the mother flame, they said that Doctor Vegapunk. They said using Doctor Vegapunk's invention, the mother flame. So yeah, it has to be Doctor Vegapunk's invention, right? I would think so. I would think so. Present day, the Holy Land of Marijoa. A celestial dragon has just been sentenced to death. Bro, don't tell me it's gonna be what's his name? The one who was helping Shirahoshi. Uh it's not Roswald, it's Don Quixote something. He's a Quixote, I forget his name. Don't tell me they about to kill this man for helping. Damn. The only good celestial dragon we've seen is about to get executed. That's wild. So we see this guy with like a he got like a moon shaped head. Like the hair, his hairstyle and the style of his beard is kind of it make him look like a crescent moon, right? Says the judge was the former king of the land known as God Valley. The former king of the land known as God Valley. That's this guy's name. He currently serves as the supreme commander of God's Knights. His name is Saint Figureland Garling. So this guy must be a celestial dragons as well, and he was the king of God Valley at one point, and now he's the supreme commander of the God's Knights. Okay, I kind of like the design though. I like the moon shaped head, like the beard and hair, the moon shaped beard hair uh, hairstyle. It says the man he sentenced to execution, none other than the one who chose to defend Fishman, Saint Don Quixote Mosgard. That's the guy's name, Mosgard. And says anyone who protects scum is lower than the scum they protect. Bruh. A man who can even judge the celestial dragons. And of course we get it says One Piece chapter 1086 N, and we're going on a 5-week break. And the last page for the readers says thank you for reading One Piece to accommodate Oda Sensei's upcoming eye surgery. One Piece will be taking a break from issue 29 on sale Monday, June 19th until issue 32 on sale Monday, July 10th. We are very sorry for the delay. Thank you for your understanding. Serialization is scheduled to resume in issue 33 on sale Tuesday, July 18th. Your continued support of One Piece is greatly appreciated. So yeah, we got a 5-week break, y'all. We got a 5-week break. So there is that, right? Bro, this chapter is good, bro. I really enjoyed this chapter because of the jewels we got. We got so much jewels that we got to talk about. Pretty much summarize this chapter, starting with going back to Mary Joa. We got pretty much the royal court. I guess that's what we're going to call them, the royal court of the Alabasta Kingdom. They're all looking for Princess Vivi, and even I guess they're looking for Cobra as well. No, I don't think they're looking for Cobra. I think they probably know that Cobra is dead at this point, but they are looking for Princess Vivi, and we learned that Princess Vivi and Wapol are both stowaways on the Aegis Kingdom ship, right? Wapol's talking to Big News Morgans, and Big News Morgans is like, "Hey, I'm gonna come help y'all." Wapol's like, "All right, I owe you one." So yeah, this is pretty much how we learn that Wapol and Vivi gets on the ship with Big News Morgans. Morgans pretty much says like, "Look, I'm gonna get close to the ship, like I'm trying to get a scoop. Y'all sneak onto the ship while I distract the people on the ship." So again, Vivi and Wapol are pretty much stowaways. They're not meant to be on the ship. The people on the ship don't even know that they're not aware that Wapol and Vivi are on the ship. So Morgans is going to come to save him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get that juicy scoop from Wapol about seeing Eam. But the question is, will that actually be printed in the paper? Because if Morgans was to print something of that caliber, that will make Morgans like public enemy number one, or just up there, right? He'd be up there as like a target for the world government to have to kill if he prints this. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he will probably eventually print this, but it might have to be like a time thing, like where he like finds the right time to do it. You know what I'm saying? When the time is right type situation. So yeah, we know that CP0 is also looking for Sabo and Vivi, right? Like, this was before the destruction of Elugia, so they still believe Sabo to be alive. They're also looking for Vivi for whatever reason. I still don't understand why CP0 wants Vivi. Like, is it because since they decided to kill Cobra, they was like, not only kill Cobra, but they also learned that Cobra in the Nefertari family are D's, right? They're D family, or they carry the will of D, right? So that in itself could make Vivi a target, right? Also, the fact that they targeted Cobra, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why they are targeting Vivi as well, or because Vivi was causing Lucci problems. I don't think that's why they would target Vivi though, but I think it's either the fact that she's a D, or because Cobra. They had to kill Cobra, right? And you know what I'm saying? So that could be the case. That one of those situations. We also see Jory Bani and Sabo were stowaways. Jory Bani was a stowaway to the Tajan Kingdom ship, and Sabo was a stowaway to the Lelugia ship, which are allies, right? Like Sabo is an ally with Lelugia, so they were more so helping Sabo escape, and that's how he also got to Lelugia, right? That's how he also got to Lelugia. And Sabo is pretty. He's beaten pretty badly. He's wounded pretty badly. But yeah. So we cut back to Mary Joa, to the Pangea Castle, where we see the Gorosei in the room, and they pretty much get a call from Eam, and Eam is like, "Hey, it's time to use the mother flame, Vegapunk's invention, right?" Which is weird because Ivankov later in the chapter brings up the idea that it has to be a ancient weapon that the Gorosei use, or the world government use, but I don't think that's the case because how the Gorosei were talking amongst each other, right? And with Eam specifically said, we're going to use Vegapunk's invention, the Mother Flame, on Lelougia. And we also realized what happened with Lelougia. So Vegapunk invented something that could potentially rival a ancient weapon. But the question is, did Vegapunk purposely invent it for that reason? Or was Vegapunk trying to create something and the world government weaponized it? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Because Ivankov made a good point that that Vegapunk would never create a weapon of that caliber. But based on the Gorosei and Eam, Vegapunk did create a weapon of that caliber. You know what I mean? So they all decide that, hey, we're going to use it on Lelougia, partially because proximity. You know, like they asked Eam, why are we doing Lelougia? And Eam says proximity. And partially I don't think Eam specifically said it, but the Gorosei also brought up the fact that Lelougia also was working with the revolutionaries as well. Like they have a spark of rebellion. That's what one of them said. So it's kind of like, hey, you know, they're a rebellious country, so and they're close. So that's why we're choosing to attack Lelougia specifically. And and then we get the full on names of all the Gorosei, right? And at first, I didn't really see it when I first read it. I was like, bro, there's only 2 Gorosei members who are named after planets. But that's false. They're all kind of named after planets. It's just a wordplay, right? So first, we got the one we already met before, that we already got the reveal first. He's the one with the hair look like dreads and he has the full beard. Saint J. Garcia Saturn. And he is the defense science warrior god, whatever that means. I'm assuming he's probably the Gorosei member that works close with Vegapunk. You know, he's the closest with Vegapunk because of his responsibility, his title. And then next we got the one who kind of looked like Ganfall, right? The god of the old god of Skypiea. His name is Saint Marcus Mars, the environmental warrior god. So something with the environment again. I don't know. And then next we got the bald-headed one with the big mustache. And he is the Justice Warrior God, which maybe he works the closest with the Marines, I'm assuming. And his name is Saint Topman Valkyrie. Now, his name isn't like directly named after a planet, but when you look at Valkyrie, it's pretty close to Mercury. You know what I mean? And I guess if you switch some letters around in his name, you could probably spell Mercury. But, you know, his name is probably the biggest reach, but Valkyrie is closest to Mercury. So I'm going to just kind of chalk that up to him being Mercury, right? And then we get the bald head one, the one who looked like Gandhi. His name he's the finance warrior god. So he probably is connected with like finances, I'm assuming. He's probably the top dog when it comes to the finance division of the world government. And his name is Saint Ethan Baron V. Nusjuro. Now, as I was reading, it was easily to kind of miss. Like, it didn't look like his name had anything to do with any planets, but it's, if you look at his initial V, like it's Saint Ethan Baron Venus Juro. Venus. So it's V Nisjuro. But if you put them together, right, the play on words is V or Venus Juro. So he's related. He's connected with the planet Venus, right? And then the last one, the one kind of like Sanji a little bit, like he could be related with Sanji. He is the agricultural warrior god, and his name is Saint Shepherd Jupiter. Jupiter. Otherwise, play on Jupiter, right? So yeah, so we got the names of all the Gorosei members. That hey, it took us this long to get these names, and I'm psyched, and that's good though. That's good that we finally got the names of these Gorosei members. So, and while Eam is talking to these guys, he also says, "Hey, one more thing. I want you guys to get Vivi. What he wants with Vivi, or what Eam wants with Vivi, don't know. Is it because Vivi's a D? Is it because Vivi's blood might hold some significant value? I don't know. You know." And we also cut to Marineford. New Marineford, we see Akainu. You know, they're talking about deploying the Seraphim. We see the other three Seraphim that we didn't see. Like before, when we was on AK, we only seen S Shark, which is like Jinbei one, S Snake Boa, S Hawk, Mihawk, and S Bear Kuma, right? But we was still missing three. We get them this chapter because we get who I was. We see Crocodile Seraphim, the Gecko Moria Seraphim, and we also see the Doflamingo Seraphim. So yeah, so now we are aware where those three Seraphim are. They're in the clutches of the Marines at Marineford. And then we leave the flashback that we were in with Sabo pretty much telling us this whole story of everything that happened at Revelry. And, you know, Sabo talks about, like, you know, soon as we got off the ship, the king and queen of Lelusia got arrested, or they got taken by the people of Lelusia, and that the people were happy for Sabo that he killed Cobra, even though Sabo didn't kill Cobra, but he didn't want to tell him the truth because it just the spark of rebellion that it caused. So he was like, I'm gonna just hold out on this one. And Yvonne, and he also tells them, like, you know, the reason why they thought I was dead when I was talking to you guys, I had to encrypt the line, so I had to send a message to Lelusia, even though we was off the coast of Lelusia. I had to send it to Lelusia and get sent out of Lelusia to you guys. So, because I knew that the world government would be listening. So, they thought I was on Lelusia, but I wasn't. And then I seen a shadowy figure in the sky rain down and obliterate Lelusia, right? And Ivankov is like, you know, Ivankov gets like really hype, you know, and Ivankov started talking about, like, hey, you mentioned the name Emu earlier. You know, he says, hey, I seen somewhere that the first 20 sovereigns, you know, that, you know, the first 20 sovereigns that eventually rose to the what are they called? Celestial dragon status. There was one among them named Saint Emu of House Nerona. So we kind of get a little bit more about Emu's identity. Emu was part of House Nerona, one of the 20 sovereigns. Probably the 20th sovereign that didn't place the weapon there, right? And Ivankov started going off like, you know, maybe Eam had the eternal surgery done to him. You know, I also think that might apply to the Gorosei as well. You know, I think they might have an eternal youth surgery as well. Unless they be replacing them. I don't know if the Gorosei constantly gets replaced or if they've been around, like the current iteration of the Gorosei that we see. I don't know if they've been around since the Void Century. I would guess maybe so. I would guess maybe so. Maybe Dolphy felt is maybe the reason Dolphy wanted the immortality surgery because he felt if he could get it done on himself, then he could become a Gorosei member. You know what I mean? Maybe he could rise to that Gorosei member because maybe that's a prerequisite you need in order to become a Gorosei member. You need to be immortal. You know. And then Ivankov also talks about how he don't believe that weapon that was used was made by Vegapunk. Even though he said the only person that could create a weapon like that is Vegapunk, but he doesn't believe that Vegapunk would create a weapon like that, right? Even though that directly contradicts what the Gorosei said when Eames specifically said, let's use the weapon that Vegapunk created, the Mother Flame, right? So, but Ivankov think it might be an ancient weapon, but the Eames specifically said it's a weapon that Vegapunk used or created. So I'm going with Eam because I think Eam would know better than Ivankov. Ivankov only believes that based on Vegapunk's character, but Eam, since Eam has possession of whatever this weapon is, I would think Eam knows the origin of that weapon. Be it if it was an ancient weapon, Eam would have said, get the ancient weapon, get Uranus or whatever, or Pluton or whatever. I don't think it's Pluton, but get Uranus or whatever. But Eam specifically said, no, get the weapon Vegapunk created. So in the last part of this chapter, we learn that someone's getting executed. A celestial dragon specifically is getting executed. And it is by a man named Saint Figureland Garling, who is the supreme commander of God's Knights. And he also used to be the former king of the land known as God Valley. So this man, he has the authority to be able to execute celestial dragons himself, right? Like he is that high up, right? And based on his name, he must be a celestial dragon as well. He was also the king of God Valley. We still don't know what happened with God Valley, but this guy would definitely know what happened with God Valley. And now this man just in one page of a chapter, he's awesome. He's became way more interesting. He's become one of the most interesting characters for me in this whole as of now, right? As of now, he's probably the most interesting characters that I want to know more of in the story currently, right? His connection with God Valley, the fact that he's a God Knight, and the fact that he has some level of authority to be able to execute celestial dragons. And I like the design. I like the crescent moon shape of his head because of his hairstyle and his beard style. But yeah, that is pretty much the chapter. We are going on break for 5 months because Oda is currently getting surgery. Not 5 months, 5 weeks. But yeah, that is great chapter. Enjoyed the chapter very much. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also comment down below your thoughts on this chapter. Make sure you are also subscribed to my YouTube channel and also follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live and you can engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook if you want to get at me directly. And join the Discord. The Discord is going to be the best place to get at me directly. And if you want to participate in discussions and stuff like that, you must be a member of the Discord. All of these will be in the description box down below. Anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P, the Bluff God. Now I'm out of here. Peace.